Chapter 1 of the Stones of Venice, Volume 2. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by April Gonzalez. The Stones of Venice, Volume 2, by John Ruskin. The Throne. In the olden days of travelling, now to return no more, in which distance could not be vanquished without toil, but in which that toil was rewarded, partly by the power of deliberate survey of the countries through which the journey lay, and partly by the happiness of the evening hours, when, from the top of the last hill he had surmounted, the traveller beheld the quiet village where he was to rest, scattered among the meadows beside its valley stream, or, from the long hoped-for turn, in the dusty perspective of the causeway, saw for the first time the towers of some famed city, faint in the rays of sunset, hours of peaceful and thoughtful pleasure, for which the rush of the arrival in the railway station is perhaps not always, or to all men, an equivalent. In those days, I say, when there was something more to be anticipated and remembered in the first aspect of each successive halting place than the new arrangement of glass roofing and iron girder, there were few moments at which the recollection was more fondly cherished by the traveller than that which, as I endeavoured to describe in the close of the last chapter, brought him within sight of Venice, as his gondola shot into the open lagoon from the Canal of Mestre. Not but that the aspect of the city itself was generally the source of some slight disappointment, for, seen in this direction, its buildings are far less characteristic than those of other great towns of Italy, but of this inferiority was partly disguised by distance, and more than atoned for by the strange rising foot walls and towers of the midst, as it seemed, of the deep sea, for it was impossible that the mind or the eye could at once comprehend the shallowness of the vast sheet of water, which stretched away in leagues of rippling lustre to the north and south, or trace a narrow line of islets bounding it to the east. The salt breeze, the white moaning sea-birds, the masses of black weed separating and disappearing gradually in knots of heaving shoal under the advance of the steady tide, all proclaim it to be indeed the ocean on whose bosom the great city rested so calmly. Not such blue, soft lake-like ocean as bathes the near portal and promontories, or sleeps beneath the marble rocks of Genoa, but a sea with the bleak power of our own northern waves, yet subdued into a strange spacious rest, and changed from its angry pallor into a field of burnished gold, as the sun declined behind the belfried tower of the lonely island church, fitly named St. George the Seaweed. As the boat drew nearer to the city, the coast which the traveller had just left sank behind him into a long low coloured line, tufted irregularly with brushwood and willows, but at what seemed its northern extremity, the hills of Aqua, rose in a dark cluster of purple pyramids, balanced on the bright mirage of the lagoon. Two or three smooth surges of inferior hills extended themselves about the route, and beyond this, beginning with the craggy peaks of Vicenza, and the chain of the Alps girded the whole horizon to the north, a wall of jagged blue, here and there showing through its clefts a wilderness of misty precipices, fading far back into the recesses of Cadore, and still rising and breaking away eastward, where the sun struck opposite upon its snow into mighty fragments of peaked light, standing up behind the barred clouds of evening, one after another, countless, the crown of the Adrian Sea, until the eye turned back from pursuing them to rest upon the nearer burning of the campaniles of Murano, and all the great city, where he magnified himself along the waves as the quick silent pacing of the gondola drew nearer and nearer, and at last, when its walls were reached, and the utmost of its untrodden streets was entered, not through towered gates or guarded rampart, but as a deep inlet between two rocks of coral in the Indian Sea, when first upon the traveller's sight opened the long ranges of columned palaces, each with its black boat moored at the portal, each with its image cast down, beneath its feet, upon that green pavement, which every breeze broke into new
Sample complete. Ready to continue?